In the GI Joe world, there are some fans who categorically despise Shipwreck. And it's interesting because the ones that do are usually the ones who prescribe to the comic book being their main source of information. Which in the comic book, Shipwreck is a pretty tough character. My big memory of him in the comic was jumping off the tactical battle platform and smashing his grappling hook into a lamprey driving a hydrofoil. So why the disdain? Why the problem? Well, this is the weird part. Is it seems like those same fans who worship the comic book and despise the cartoon will cite his behavior in the cartoon as their problem with the character. I really never understand that, and I've really tried. Because if you are dismissing an entire genre, why are you upset about how a character acts in that genre? I don't know. He's lazy and he's stupid. Either way, I like Shipwreck. I think the way he's portrayed in the cartoon is for comedic effect, and it works. You need a naval guy in an organization like GI Joe. And I've figure is one of the better ones in the ARH line. So when they announced him for Classified, I was like, okay, the face is the complaint he's getting the most about. I'm looking at it and I think, it could be worse. It should be better. But it's not Matt Damon. So I'm just going to leave it alone and move forward. Because I like Shipwreck. I liked him enough to buy the Classified figure. This says something. I only buy my favorites. And only if they do them pretty decent. So Shippy comes with 2 pistols. Fully to be expected. He has a removable rope. Okay, odd. And he has a grappling hook that can either go on his belt, which looks really weird, or go onto the rope, which looks better. Now, personally, I think they could have done a string here and been more like the original figure, but I guess they didn't want to consult me on this design, so I'm not going to really say much. He's got a flintlock-like gun, which is accurate to the old school figure, but is a little awkward at the same time. And a regular gun. Regular pistol. But he has no kind of rifle. And I think a good upgrade to Shipwreck would have been having a good rifle. Nothing fancy, nothing superb or anything like that. Just seems like, if he's fighting Cobra, you want him to have a rifle and a pistol. I know the original didn't come with one, but hey, we're also upgrading these figures, so giving them plenty of weapons. Lastly, there is the odd choice to give Polly a peg leg. I do not understand this. I mean, okay, yeah, sure, I get the fact that they wanted it so that, Polly could sit on his wrist or on his rope. But I don't understand this from a practical standpoint. It makes almost no sense to me to put that bird in a peg leg. It's odd. It's just odd to have a peg leg on a bird. And I'm really not sure what I feel about it. It's just, I think better design choices could have been made. With that being said, the sculpt looks okay. There is a little bit of awkwardness on the shoulder and the bicep joint, but I'm going to let that go for now. I think it could have been designed better, but it could have been designed much worse. And we've seen much worse. Now, another one is his hat. For whatever reason, this thing wants to fall off if I look at it. But here's a weird one. Just his plain hair. Vice grip. That's weird. I don't know what to make of that. It seems like they have the measurements of the molds right. They just decided not to do it on the hat version. Okay. That's fine. What are my overall feelings on this figure? I mean, despite a lot of flaws, it's still pretty good. And I'm glad I added it to my Action Force collection. Of course, the reason I buy any GI Joe Classifieds is to add to my Action Force collection. Because of that silly line in Sergeant Slaughter's file card about working with covert teams in the 80s and 90s. Wonder who they're talking about. I think it's a good figure. I like it. I'm glad he's in my collection. So, I'll leave it at that. Okay, that'll wrap up this overview of Shipwreck, GI Joe Classified. Everyone, have a great day.